Hey guys, and welcome back to Purely Walking. It's me, Ellie again, and today we are going to walk through the top most emblematic financial frauds here in the Dominican Republic. If you like reporting on this type of criminal schemes here in the Dominican Republic and the scams that have been involved, I have a video regarding the top real estate frauds here in the Dominican Republic that you might want to check out. But for this video, I'm going to go through these emblematic fraud schemes, and they are a doozy because some of the characters involved include local celebrities down to people that are just downright people that you would never think are these wild geniuses, and how they were able to defraud people out of millions of bucks. So if you want to know the top money frauds here in the DR, then grab your coffee and let's get into it. First up is the most recent scam that was discovered in 2025, and it is ATV Football. It was a supposed sports betting company, and investors were opted into a Telegram group where they were then told what bets to place. They were operating actually as a pyramid scheme where investors also gained a commission for every other member that they got on board. They captured investors with the promise of generating double the earnings in just a single month.
El que no sacó su ganancia se jodió.
Tienen la puerta cerrada.
La semana pasada, el país fue testigo del colapso de ATV Football, una supuesta plataforma de apuestas que atrajo a miles de personas con una oferta tentadora: duplicar su inversión en solo 30 días. Seducidos por esta promesa, cientos depositaron sus ahorros, mientras otros incluso solicitaron préstamos bancarios con la esperanza de multiplicar su dinero.
The bets were placed on football teams all across the globe, and what generated the big red flags was the fact that even though you bet on teams that lost, you still generated earnings. This scheme captured so much attention around the Dominican Republic that they opened offices in other provinces such as San Francisco de Macorís, Puerto Plata, Tenares, Higüey, and also obviously here in Santo Domingo. Another scammy tactic that they used was to exhibit the supposed bonanza of their members. And one particular case of this was Kenwood Jimenez, who actually got a Toyota Highlander for having a team of 2,000 members under him. And this was all promoted through the same app, Telegram.
And I really don't want to sound superficial, but I'm kind of judging over here, to be sincere, okay? If we look at this man physically, you would never believe that thousands of people actually gave him the benefit of the doubt and were able to give him money so they can enter into this scam. I mean, this man even has missing teeth, for crying out loud. Would you trust this man with your savings?
Here in DR, we have regulation on sports betting, and all companies must be authorized through the Ministry of Finance. And of course, as you can imagine, ATV Football had none of those authorizations in order. In February of 2025, our Ministry of Finance caught on to this and issued a nationwide warning against this company. When the government issued the official warning, ATV suddenly emitted a message to their members saying that their dealings and negotiations with the Dominican government had fallen through, supposedly, and so their accounts were supposedly frozen, which is why the members could no longer withdraw or deposit any funds.
Kendry Antonio Jiménez Florencio se encuentra detenido en el Ministerio Público tras el cierre de sus oficinas en San Francisco de Macorís.
This next one involves a local full-on celebrity, which is why it was so interesting. The company is called Go Arbit. In 2022, Go Arbit was identified as a pyramid scheme, and it offered its investors cryptocurrency investments and high yield returns. One of the most well-known ambassadors of Go Arbit was none other than urban artist called Toxic Crow. And have you guys ever heard of him? Comment down below if you have. Back when Go Arbit was at its peak, Toxic Crow was also in his peak, and so he went on a lot of interviews, and he was not only famous for his, urban artistry, but he was also famous because he had a lot of investments outside of his singing. He always talks about how he had investments in real estate and how well that was going for him, and suddenly he started talking about Go Arbit.
Explícame cómo que funciona. Tú vas, por ejemplo, $1,000. Vamos a ver.
Te pagan $15 diarios sin tú referir a nadie. Porque, oye, un sistema
nada más por tener los $1,000
de ahorro, un sistema es Ponzi y piramidal cuando tú obligatoriamente tienes que meter personas para poder ganar.
Aquí tú no tienes que meter a nadie.
No es necesario. Si quieres ganar más. Si quieres ganar más.
And so since he was a local celebrity and he was already famous for being smart with money and having investments outside of his urban artistry, then people actually listened, and a lot of people got scammed out of a lot of money because of Toxic Crow's suggestions and recommendations regarding Go Arbit.
Señores, ¿qué tal? Toxic Crow, la máquina de cotorra. Esto no se trata de que sea sistema Ponzi ni piramidal. Señores, sea inteligente. Si yo estoy aquí es por algo, porque a mí me dicen la máquina de hacer dinero.
In 2022, when Go Arbit was identified as a pyramid scheme, Toxic Crow washed his hand like Pontius Pilate, and he said that he was only one more investor of the company, and so he had nothing to do with the fraudulent side of it. What I can interpret from all of this is that Toxic Crow really did believe that this company was legit because he was one of the ones that were on top of the pyramid generating income, and so since he was generating all this income, he suggested it to others. However, it does seem fishy to me that Toxic Crow was so well known because of his smart investments, and yet he had no idea that the earnings that Go Arbit promised were too good to be true? Or did he purposely recommend this company publicly in order to get more commissions on the people that got and signed up under him, knowing full well that he would get money, but the people in the bottom of the pyramid wouldn't? What do you guys think? Did Toxic Crow know beforehand that this was a scam and he just was trying to make a quick buck out of it? Or did you truly believe that he was just one more victim of this whole thing? I don't know, I'm on the fence about this. By the way, if you're new here, hi, my name is Ellie, and on this channel we talk all things Dominican Republic. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be here to show you around places in the DR that you may want to see, show you how things work, tell you interesting info on the country, and all of that good stuff. So if that's your gig, go ahead and subscribe. This next one provoked national attention, national scrutiny, national laughter even, because el personaje, the character that was behind this whole thing, is unfathomably laughable. He doesn't seem like the type of person to have $1 million scam against all these people, and it was amazing how much he was able to scam people out of. The guy's name is Wilkin Garcia, famously known as Monte Kia, which in Spanish means butter. The guy was smooth as butter to be able to trick people out of all this money, okay? He gained notoriety in a small town in Monte Plata, and he was able to scam people by telling them they were going to duplicate or even triple their earnings in just a single month.
Estos muchachos han llegado aquí como casa de Dios y puerta del cielo.
Las tiendas no están vendiendo porque la gente está doblando su cuarto. No quieren gastar los cuartos. Sabana Grande, Boyá, nunca había llegado la bendición tan grande que ha llegado a Sabana Grande. En tiempo de lluvia, bendiciones grandes. Quiera Dios que este hombre siga, que siga. Inversiones 314.
His business is called 3.14 Investments. Obviously, the name of this company was very well thought out because he said that 3.14, the pi number, was a representation of the infinite earnings that you can get through his company. Some funny things on Monte Kia because this guy was so interesting. He got an accounting bachelor's degree from the university called UTESA. And he said that supposedly his whole business came into fruition out of 7 years of studying and investigating. He found out this super secret formula to generating all of this income.
Bueno, eso es como decirte yo que Cola Real le pidieran la fórmula a la Coca-Cola o que Pepsi le pidiera la fórmula a la Coca-Cola. Pero sí, nosotros tenemos también una de nuestros secretos financieros, que es como un sistema que sí funciona y que sí la riqueza puede ser repartida a cada una de las personas.
He actually had the audacity to go on various interviews and say that the formula for his business was so super secret that it would compromise the national economy as a whole.
Demasiado grande para la mente humana. Esto es un fenómeno financiero, esto es un fenómeno económico que ha nacido en República Dominicana. Y es de Sabana Grande, Guayana.
Funny enough, Monte Kia, butter, he called himself the Dominican Albert Einstein, and I'm just like, I don't know whether to cry or to laugh. Of course, in his various interviews, Monte Kia said that none of his negotiations are a scam whatsoever. Of course, we believe you, Monte Kia. Everybody duplicates their earnings in a month, right? Not. This next one is a super funny one because its creator actually got the guts to go on national TV to supposedly defend his fraudulent scheme. And boy, did he crash and burn.
San Miguel en México.
Tengo maestría en banca.
¿Y cómo tiene una maestría si no tiene una carrera aquí?
No estudié en República Dominicana.
¿Dónde estudiaste?
Yo estudié en Andrade Autonomous University.
¿Qué universidad es esa?
Es una universidad de Estados Unidos.
Ah, ¿desde cuándo? ¿Una universidad de Estados Unidos?
Una pregunta, ¿tú puedes cortar para hacer algo?
Donde el nombre de Andragogy Autonomous University tiene como titular a Jairo Joel González Durán y al guatemalteco Gustavo Roberto Torres Marroquín.
In case you didn't catch that last bit, what happened was Nuria, the reporter, discovered that this guy had supposedly graduated from a university in the United States, quote unquote, that was actually registered under his own name. So basically, the guy graduated from a fake university that he created himself. Can you believe the audacity of this dude? And then he went on to supposedly get a master's degree in a university in Mexico without even having a bachelor's. It's insane the great lengths this guy went to appear professional.
The business is Harvest Investment Cap, created by Jairo Gonzalez. His supposed investments were carried out through investing in cryptocurrency. And this guy, Jairo Gonzalez, has been accused of embezzling people out of more than $100 million.
Another awful layer to this whole deception is that Jairo Gonzalez calls himself supposedly a Christian, and he started scamming people from the church. There are pastors that have been scammed, community members that have been scammed, and even celebrities in the Christian world like Robert Greene from the group Barak also was impacted by this huge scam that was Harvest Investment Cap.
Broker de Chipre.
De Chipre. Sí. Mira, yo creo definitivamente que tú estás mintiendo. Porque dices muchas cosas, que si el dinero está en Chipre, que si le está, que si tienes que monetizar, que tienes el dinero, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Por eso también te comparan con Monte Kia. ¿Dónde queda Chipre?
Europa.
¿Pero dónde en Europa?
Europa.
¿Qué parte de Europa?
Pero déjeme explicar.
No, espera. Tú prestas dinero y tienes un broker en Chipre, pero tú ni sabes dónde queda Chipre.
In 2023, Jairo Gonzalez's business went down the drain as lawsuits started coming in and authorities got him on charges of money laundering and embezzlement. And a truly famous case, it dates back to 2014, but it is still very relevant, is TXFree. TXFree is considered one of the biggest money frauds in Brazil's history, and it had great impact in the Dominican Republic. This business operated under a Ponzi scheme system, and it attracted investors, promising them high returns through digital services of voice over IP. So basically, just by spending a few minutes in their computer, they could basically double their earning. Back in 2014, the Securities Commission of the United States stopped in its track all operations of TXFree because they did have their headquarters in the United States, even though it started in Brazil. and they accused the company of tricking people out of more than $1 billion. Alright guys, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I also hope that your coffee was as good as mine was, because mine was pretty delicious, if I may say so. And so guys, this is me signing out, and I'll see you in my next video next week, of course. Bye!